Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and from time to time, we all meet certain speed bumps in life, right? And wouldn't it be nice to talk to somebody to kind of build a bridge, get us over that hump, give us some advice, whether it's in life, love, money, whatever the case may be? Well, now imagine if you're neurodiverse. What does that look like? With me today, Jane Coburn. She is a personal coach and consultant to the neurodiverse right here on the show. Hi, Jane. How you doing?
Hi, Gina. I'm so good. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here because, like I said, a lot of people need coaching from time to time. And when it comes to our neurodiverse, I wanted to find out what that looks like. But first, let me ask you, how did you get started in life coaching?
Well, I got a master's degree in counseling a million years ago, 28 years ago. And then I had two children, two boys, and they're both autistic. They were diagnosed when they were little. And so I've always worked for 30 years. I've worked with mostly nonprofits, working with families and children and adults who had different disabilities. And I always wanted to work for myself. I felt like there was limits on me when we were under a governmental, things or just an agency in general. And I just wanted to work for myself and help families in any way I could without, restrictions and things like that. And so I started my own business in 2019. I took a life coaching course. And that with my counseling degree, I just threw myself out there and just families started coming to me, and it's been great.
Isn't it funny how everything is parent driven, that we kind of reinvent ourselves because of our kids? So let me ask you a question. Do you life coach your own two sons?
Oh, yes. My 24-year-old had an interview this morning, and last night, believe me, we were going over interviewing things and practicing things, and I was kind of coaching him on how to, just how to be in the interview. He's had a few now, so he's doing well, but
I sure hope he gets the job.
I do too. And of course, typical, he has not texted me. It was over 2 hours ago, and I asked him to please text me when it's over and let me know how it goes. No text. So, he's just going to keep me in suspense, but yes, I do a lot of coaching of my own kids, and that's one thing I love when I work with people. I always say I get to be the person I needed 22 years ago, 24 years ago, and it's
Right.
just sometimes I hang up the phone and I get teary-eyed because it's like, oh my gosh, this was me 23 years ago, and now I get to be the person I wish I had had back then.
Jane, it seems to me like because the world of the neurodiverse is growing at a really an extraordinary rate. Now 1 in 36 kids are put on the spectrum. And then you go into young adulthood when you need the life coaching skills the most. What would you say people are coming to you for, looking for help? Like when it comes to coaching, is it looking for a job? Is it looking for, how to navigate finances? What kinds of things are you seeing?
So I coach parents of children, and then I coach young adults and adults who are neurodiverse. And I would say the parents are usually looking for help with school, how to communicate with school, advocate at school, work along with the school to make it the best situation for their child. And also just navigating at home, how to handle different things that go on and finding resources. When I work with young adults, the biggest thing for the young adults is what's next, like adulting, finding a job, financial, how to handle a budget, how to set that up, what are things going to cost, how to figure out what am I spending versus what am I bringing in, all of that. And a lot of social, they're lonely in their early 20s. School is over. They don't have that built-in social. And it's like they're sitting at home on their couch. And, it's a myth that they don't want to be social. Back when I was in college in the 80s, they said, autistic people didn't care about the rest of the world, and that we know is false. And so just navigating that social world as an adult, where is my community? What are my interests? How do I get involved in things in my community? That kind of thing.
This is exactly why Claire Dees and I started Table Talk here in Atlanta. And I don't know if you know too much about this, but it's a young adult social event, much like speed dating. And they go and they meet each other in 5-minute increments. And then we all sit down and everybody meets each other and everybody has a meal. So whether or not you're looking for a meaningful friendship or you're looking for love, our Table Talk events are just really a hands down
That's
the
awesome.
best
I
time.
want to come.
But now I know you should come. And check this out. The one person said to me, actually I've had more than one person say to me, Gina, now that I've graduated college, I don't have any opportunities to be social. Because being neurodiverse, it's that extra little, got to get you over that hump in order to be social. You might forget to go to join a bowling team, or you might forget to go out and have a drink with a friend. And so that's where I believe that these Table Talk events, and then what you're doing, trying to build that bridge for them to just get out of the house, then everything becomes so clear. It's just getting over that hump, right?
Yes, and I've found we have a university right here 5 minutes away, and so I've found university students who are studying education, psychology, rec therapy, and I'll tap into them as volunteers, and so that, because not everybody wants a middle-aged woman, going to the game night with them, even though
Right.
they do. I find that if you just once go with them to something and introduce them to people and get them settled, a lot of times they'll go again on their own. And so I'll get college students to go, young adults to go with the other young adults to whatever that neurodiverse person is interested in, a game night or whatever, and I'll pair them and get them to go. And lots of times it builds a friendship, and even if it doesn't build a friendship, it gets the neurodiverse person over that hump of initiating that social event.
Sitting with me today, Jane Coburn, who is a personal coach and consultant, definitely to the neurotypical, but also our neurodiverse population. When we get back, we're going to find out some of the things that she does, like the workshops with businesses and schools. Stay with me.
Hi, I'm Lear Gilmars. Thanks to our friends at
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, personal coach and consultant to the neurodiverse, Jane Coburn. Jane, where are you located?
I am located in the mountains of North Carolina, about an hour southwest of Asheville.
And how do you work with businesses and schools and handle these workshops that you give to both of them, and then also the neurodiverse clientele that you have?
So I have a contract with our local school system, and I work with juniors and seniors who are looking for jobs and who are neurodiverse. And so a lot of it, people don't realize, it's not just getting a job. A lot of it is nurturing relationships with employers and teaching employers how to make their working environment better for neurodiverse people. And the funny thing is it always ends up better for everybody. I mean, I'll create visual manuals, training manuals. I had a kid who worked in the bakery at a grocery store, and I watched them make everything and took pictures and then created a picture manual for him because he didn't read very well. And they use it for everyone they hire now. And everyone loves it.
I love that.
And so that happens a lot. That's just one example. That happens a lot. Employers are stuck in how they've always done it. And sometimes me coming in, I just watch, how the whole place works. I watch what's going on. And lots of times the things that I suggest to help the environment be better for my neurodiverse student ends up being better for everybody. And so I do a lot of just one-on-one coaching with employers, helping them figure out for that employment how it will be best for my neurodiverse client. And then I also go into the schools and do consulting with teachers, just going in the classroom and kind of watching what's going on. And then helping the teacher figure out what she can change in her environment or how she can approach things so that the neurodiverse student can be successful.
I really like this. And you take on clients and patients, not just there in North Carolina, but really all over the country, right? Because you can do things virtually now to kind of help bridge some gaps if there's some things that people are working through that they need your help, right?
Yes, I have clients all over the country. And I meet them on Zoom. So it just depends. I do the local things and I do in-person things, and then I have people online that I work with.
Outside of work, Jane, what would you say is another big reason that clients come to you outside of work, financials, maybe some life skill type situations? What are clients really looking for too?
Well, when it's the parents, they're really looking to know that they're not alone. They're looking to, I remember when my kids were little and I would meet parents, mothers of older adults, and they would seem so calm. And I was like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get my kid in this and that, and blah, blah, blah. You're just like completely freaked out. And these parents would be so calm. And now I laugh because I'm the calm parent of the older kids. My kids are 26 and 24. They're on their own path. It doesn't look anything like maybe before they were born I thought it would look, but it's okay. They're both happy and they're on their own path. And so, not to say I don't, before the interview this morning, I'm not, nervous and getting them ready.
Sure.
But for the most part, I'm much more chill than I was when the kids were little. And so I think they're looking for that, like someone who's been through it that can be like, take a breath.
Yeah,
It's
relax.
a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's okay, And then the adults, the autistic adults, I am working with a lot of autistic adults who did not get diagnosed till they were well into adulthood.
Would you say that for females or more for
Both.
males?
Both. I'm working with a 62-year-old man who was diagnosed at 60.
Whoa, that's late.
And it's giving him, he's looking back on his whole life. And so some of these a little bit older adults, I'm working with a 30-year-old who got diagnosed last year. And he's really diving in and just learning about autism and figuring out where he fits in on that spectrum and what he needs. And so some of these adults that are getting diagnosed older, that's what I'm doing. I'm going, it's like Autism 101. I'm saying, I'm giving them almost a PowerPoint of autism, and then they bring me things like this happened, or this is the way I thought about that, or I had this interaction and it was weird and I don't understand because I thought I was fine. And, just helping them work through what autism is, how it is affecting them in their lives, what is autism, what is not autism, all these things from all these years of not knowing what was going on with them and not.
Yet they still kind of knew something was up because they were always the socially awkward or never got invited or the last to play sports, picked
Or
on
bullied.
a team, bullied. I know it really is so sad. And you just can't, you want to say you can teach acceptance to kids, but unless neurotypical kids are around neurodiverse kids, I like to say, like my cousin or Lyric's cousin, he's around Lyric and he just has this sweet way about him. And I think it's because he is learning to accept. And so now when Lyric's cousin is around other neurodiverse kids or other disabilities, he's much easier and much more calm and takes into consideration and would be the first one to, hey, don't make fun of them. And point the finger right back at the person who's doing the bullying. So I think it starts with the parents, and it starts with maybe getting kids involved with, if they are neurotypical, with a young mom, young sons club or something where they're going out and helping the special needs community. And then that way it teaches acceptance, right?
Yeah. I mean, my son, I raised them both, you're who you are. And you're going to find your way, and your brain. And my son will say to me, my 24-year-old, I'll say to him, "Can you explain what you were thinking? Why you needed this way?" And luckily, he's able to do that most of the time. And he'll say to me, "I don't know, Mom. My brain just works differently." And he says it like in this throw-off, matter-of-fact way.
Yeah.
And I love that. And he's proud of himself. And and I just want everybody that I work with to get to that point where they're like, My brain just works differently. Let me figure out how to teach the rest of the world how my brain works and what I need. And it's okay. We don't have to be afraid.
You know, when we get back with Jane Coburn, she's a personal coach and consultant to the neurodiverse and as well as neurotypical people, right? You do that as well. When we get back, we're going to
Yes.
find out kind of some price ranges, how long a session is, and more. Stay with me.
I'm Lyra Gillenwaters. Thanks for checking out this episode of Life with the Spectrum. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll always see the newest episodes when they come out.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Jane Coburn, a personal coach and consultant to the neurotypical as well as our neurodiverse population. Jane, you know, if people can't get in touch with you and they find a different life coach down here in Atlanta or maybe in South Carolina, maybe we have viewers in Phoenix and Texas, what would you say is a fair price range so that our friends and family don't get price gouged?
Right. Well, I have to say my prices are pretty low compared to other coaches.
Okay.
And it's because I'm a parent too. And I want to be able to help as many
Right.
people, and I don't want to gouge them, you know? So, I mean, I would say it depends on the area you live in. If you live in a metropolitan area, it's going to be more money. But I would say if anyone's charging you, you know, I do mine in monthly packages, 30-day packages, and I would think that if anyone is
Oh.
charging you for a monthly package more than, you know, $600, I think that's a lot, you know.
Okay. How many sessions come in your monthly package, Jane?
So my monthly package, I have like 3 levels.
Okay.
And I also flex it out. I mean, I'll help a family with whatever, you know, they can do. So my basic package is $350 for the month. And they get 4-hour-long sessions with me, talking about what's going on, what do they need help with, you know, all of that. And then they get a follow-up email, which is something every one of my clients loves and says it really helps them. Because you know how you go to the doctor and the doctor's saying all these things to you, and then you walk out and you're like, what did they say? You know. So I send a very detailed email about what we talked about, what direction we're going in, what resources we need to look at, and what their goals are for the following week. And the family or the neurodiverse individual or the family always has 2 or 3 goals. I have 2 or 3 goals. We work as a team. So I'll look for resources for them. I'll do some things for them. They do some things for them. And then midweek we come back together via email and say, hey, I called this person, this happened, what's going on, da da da, what do we have to tweak? And so that's the basic package. And then it goes up from there. My highest package is $600. And that's access, it's longer sessions. And then it's access to me via text anytime they want between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
And now here's the kicker. Have you ever started diving into neurodiverse couples counseling? This is a big thing right now.
I have not, but it's a big thing, and I would love to. I've done dating, you know, with people and helping them figure out dating, but not an actual couple.
I think that the demand is growing in leaps and bounds. I think what we also see is not just the neurodiverse couple themselves, but also the neurodiverse married to a neurotypical person. And there are just walls and barriers because of the communication differences that will drive one crazy or frustrate the other one to the point that then the relationship ends. And so I noticed that here in Atlanta, there's a big need for neurodiverse couples counseling, whether it's both neurodiverse or one neurotypical, one neurodiverse. So that might, I don't know if the need's up there like it is here, but it's crazy out of control.
Well, it's interesting. The counseling that I've done with couples is mostly these older adults that are getting diagnosed late and are married or in relationships, and a big thing is once they find out they're autistic, a big part of what I do is teach both of them. And you'll see them, they'll be like, oh yes, sometimes they're laughing because It's like that thing that we've been fighting over for 10 years. You mean that's autism? Okay. It builds kind of understanding and compassion. And it doesn't mean it doesn't still maybe drive the one partner crazy or the other partner crazy because, whatever, that's life. But there's more understanding and more compassion comes in on both sides. And then I start to work with them around, okay, this is what you need, this is what you need, what's in the middle? How much can you adjust? How much can you adjust so that then there's that middle ground,
So you are basically doing neurodiverse counseling. I
Yeah.
mean, for couples.
I guess I should say I do that. Call me. I don't know.
We need to add that to your website, which, by the way, brings me to the last and final thing. How can people get in touch with you, Jane?
Well, I have a website, janecoburn.life. So just type in janecoburn.life and they can see all about me, all the different things I do. And there's a way to email me. And then I always do a 30-minute free consult just to get to know each other, talk about what your needs are, what I do, and see if there's a match. And then after that free consult, if they hire me, then we just go ahead and have our 30 days and start working on whatever they want to work on. It's very client driven. It's what because, it's not my life, it's their life.
I expect to see that neurodiverse couples counseling on your website
I'm going to
sooner
add
than later. Jane,
I'm adding it as we speak
you're
now.
right. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today. What a wealth of information. And I know that people will look forward to not only connecting with you on your website, but are you also on socials really quick?
Oh, yes. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Jane C. Life.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Jane, for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Jane is a wealth of information, and it's good to know that there are people like Jane out there life coaching, helping our neurodiverse with executive functioning skills and those life skills that some of us just take for granted because they're there. But our neurodiverse work twice as hard as a neurotypical person does any day of the week. So to know that she's there helping get somebody over the hump or helping to bridge a gap is huge. And you can, again, reach out to Jane at janecoburn.life. And that the neurodiverse couples counseling is so crucial. And she's already doing it. She's just going to add it to her website, and you can find it there as well, janecoburn.life. Thanks again for checking into Life with the Spectrum. I so appreciate you stopping by. Remember, if there is somebody that I need to be speaking to, make sure to comment below or DM me. Send me an email, gina@gcast.com. That's GKASTS.com. And I'll try to book them on a future episode. Again, we live this crazy journey called life, and I so appreciate you stopping in to Life with the Spectrum. See ya.
Bye.